Hey everyone, it's Jen with ChappyPlans. Thanks for joining me for this December daily video. If you'd like to see what I'm going to do, stick around. Hi friends, it's Jen with ChappyPlans. Thanks for joining me for this December daily process video. This is going to be story number 5, which is a story about our advent calendars, and this is a pretty simple one. After creating several stories with many interactive elements and moving parts, I decided to go a little bit more simple. So I stuck to a formula, which is the 2 3x4 pockets and then the 4x6 pocket on the bottom inside the page protectors here. And what I've done is created one page for each of our advent calendars. So the first one here is talking, well, it's not even really going to have journaling, but it is obviously from the Ali Edwards sticker kit, advent kit, and I open it all at the beginning of the season so I can use the items that are inside as I am pre-planning or creating foundation pages. And that's just a personal preference. Some folks really enjoy opening them daily, like my friend Linda of Linda Loves Creating, but I'm not one who likes surprises or really cares for them, so I like to know what I'm getting into. So I took the card with the number 5 from this year's advent kit to trim it down and act as a pocket card. And that's going to be to represent the story, which is obviously number 5. Then I decided to trim off some of the leftover gingerbread craft paper that I have from the box that the main kit came in this year for a couple of reasons. One, it's featured in the photo with the advent sticker kit, and it coordinates with the previous story, which is the gingerbread house. So it ties everything all together nicely. And then I wanted to play off of the green, so I used this patch, ornament patch, which came in the advent sticker kit as well, which was also intentional. I wanted to make sure that I featured one of the items that I really enjoyed receiving in this year's advent kit. And then I'm just going to take these like baubles. I don't really know what you call them, but they're like sparkly half circles, and use these glue dots. They're in the Zots. They're called Zots Bling, and they're the tiny ones to adhere a bunch of the gold and then the sort of iridescent bling dots to this pattern paper. And then I kind of just use it as decor. The last thing I am going to do actually, that's a lie. I come back and add a little bit more even to this page because, I love to embellish. So once those are all on there, I think I'm going to trim down this gorgeous gold faux leather scallop trim that I ordered off Etsy back in the fall. And while it's not the perfect gold color to coordinate with a lot of the gold I have featured in the album already, it's going to be perfect for this particular page. And actually, off camera, something I do later on is add some of that same trim to the back of the gingerbread house pocket I created for story number, what was it, 4? And that kind of ties it in as well. And I'm actually debating whether I want to get a little extra and add some decor to the back of the gingerbread house as well, just because. So I edited out the rest of me adding the bling to the paper because it's very tedious, and I think you get the idea. And now, yep, I'm going to trim down this scalloped border, and I think I use redline tape. Nope. Do I? Okay, I'm going to use this glue that I got at, I think, Joann. It's clear gel tacky glue by Aleene's. I really like it for a little bit of extra something something. It works well for like fabric to paper. And so while this isn't necessarily, I don't even know what the material is, to be honest, of the trim, but it stays really well and it's nice and stuck there. So I'm going to keep it simple. I will come back and do something to the picture in a little while, but now I'm going to move on to the next story, or not story, but portion of the story, which is Matt's advent calendar. And I don't normally get him one. And so this year I decided to, because I was doing like sort of tea themed gifts for him for Christmas because he really loves his tea. So I purchased that one for Matt, and then for Nora, I got her, she's into all she wants to buy is beautiful, like, perfumes and skincare and storage for all her skincare and her vanity. And so I got her this beauty advent calendar that's got 24 little gifts in it. And so far, it's actually been really cute. I can't speak to the quality of the makeup. I'm sure it's not great compared to the super expensive things she's been into lately. But for something little to open every day, it was just what I needed. And then I added this advent calendar way late in the game. In fact, it didn't even come until about a week ago. But that is because, not even a week ago, a few days ago, because it was on sale and I didn't even realize they existed. I saw somebody post something like this and I thought, you know what? This is a great family one. So this one's got 12 little miniature puzzles in it, and I'm going to use, and that one is one that we're doing kind of as a family. So I'm sort of going through embellishments and auditioning what I want to put in each of these pockets. Originally, I thought I was going to use the green scallop tags that came in, I think they were an add-on. Maybe. I'm not sure. Anyhow, but I decided to switch it up and use the December story 3x4 pocket cards. And that's because the whole reason I changed my mind is because after I finished the first part of this story where I trimmed down the number 5 card, I wanted the same size and shape card on the back side. And so if I put that green scallop tag over top of it, I wouldn't have liked the way it looked. So once I know I want to use the 3x4 December story cards, those red scallop cards right there, then I know that I'm going to need a similar shaped card for the back final page. And I wanted to bring out the green, so I used the vellum green frame, and then I'm going to pair that with that same shade of green bow. And I was playing off of the bow theme, and I'm going to do some embossing. So to add a little something, because I didn't want to journal on the cards, I wanted them just to serve as kind of a resting spot for your eyes from each of the colorful photos and to create unity. So I am going to stamp the bows in the 2 sizes. Those are from the stamp sets this year that you could have added on to your kit. So there's 2 different size bows that I have, and I stamped a couple of them on the backgrounds of each of these pocket cards. And then on the top of those, I'm going to put these giant puffy stickers that I think are from last year or the year before. And I thought I was going to do gold, but I end up doing red after I emboss them with gold powder, because I think the gold alphas there kind of would get lost on top of the bows that are there. So hopefully that all makes sense. You'll see it come together. So yeah, I was really trying to figure out what I wanted to embellish them with. If you noticed, I was going through all the different die cuts, and then I thought about doing stars, but I remembered that I was going to use the green bow to overlap the vellum frame that you can see on the right side of the screen. So once I decided on the bows, that's when it was easier for me to go, okay, well, that's what I'm going to do for the backgrounds of these pocket cards. And you can see there that I am adding I used the static pouch first, then I stamped the bows in different sizes, then I put the embossing powder on, and then I'm going to use my heat tool to emboss the bows, and I absolutely love the way that it looks. So you can see I'm kind of toying with the idea of switching to the red now, and I feel like that's going to bring out the top portion of the card that already is in red. And now I want to make sure that the red alphas are going to look nice next to the photos that are already there. So I do like the way that the red M pops with that T advent calendar. And then I also like the way that the red N pops next to Nora's advent calendar. And I love the formula that I have there of that decorative embossed card, then the smaller picture, and then the photo there of the inside of Nora's calendar. And then I don't know if I mentioned that the blue 4x6 piece that's underneath Matt's advent calendar is actually from the packaging of the advent calendar. So that's kind of fun. And then I'm going to decide, oh wait, I need to put my initial on the first one, and I don't like the red, and this is all green and gold, so I'm going to do something a little bit different on mine, which is totally fine, because even though it's part of the same story, this page is sort of a standalone since it's the first page of story number 5. Hopefully that makes sense. So what I'm going to do, instead of using a bow because it covers up too much of the photo, is glue this star, which I think is from like a Stories by the Month kit maybe, or a story kit from a couple of years ago. I'm going to settle on this shade of greenish blue. I think it ties it all together nicely. And then underneath the gold foiled portion, I'm going to use my glue pen so that you don't see any of the glue showing through the other side, since it is vellum, and that can be a little tricky sometimes when you use vellum if you're not going to use a tiny attacher. So I adhere that to the front of the photo, and then I can put the gold J for Jen, obviously my first name, on top, and that's going to complete the first page of story number 5. So that looks nice. Those two look nice. And now the last thing to do is finishing up the back page. So I'm going to, again, this time use tape because you're not going to see anything on the other side of it, and keep that really simple. That's going to stay on the vellum card. And then I have the 2 4x6 pictures of the posters that came with this puzzle advent calendar. So those posters show the different puzzles that like how they should look, when they're completed. So I create a flip up. I'm going to use my X-Acto knife to trim and cut through the page protector so that I can flip up the first photo. And then on the underside, I'm going to use the 4x6 card that's all white and just says tradition in gold. And since I'm kind of going with green as the theme for this last page of the story, I'm going to take my number stamps after I kind of embellish it and figure out what to do. So the front, I think I'm getting ahead of myself. I apologize. This front photo that I have is going to just have trim on the one side that has more white space on the left. I didn't center the picture very well, and instead of reprinting them a bunch of times, I'm just going to leave it as is. So I am going to add that same scallop trim to the front of that photo on the left because there's too much white space, and I think it kind of plays off the scalloped frame on the top, and it also ties in the very front story, which also has the gold scallop trim on that number 5. So now I'm just going to go through way too many stickers and embellishments to try to figure out what to do, and then I decide to add this green word phrase sticker because it has the same color green as the bow and the frame that says capturing this moment in time. And then I'm going to use the tab, which is from my stash, that says bright, as an indicator that you need to flip up this picture to see what's underneath. So this is where I'm going to stamp on the card 1, 2, 3, just as an opportunity to talk about these advent calendars. And I wanted it to be broken up so that it was a little bit more informal as far as the journaling. So I stamped with my Distress Oxide ink in, I think it's, what's it called? Rustic Wilderness, maybe. And then I'm going to journal. We love our advent calendars. I enjoy choosing them for you each year. This year I found the cutest beauty themed calendar. 2 says, I decided to find one for Matt since he's such an avid tea drinker. It's fun trying all the flavors and kinds. 3 says, I always get the December daily advent calendar and it's my absolute favorite every time, but new this year is the 12-day puzzle advent for our family to do together. So once I get my journaling in, which by the way, I just used a 0.38 Muji gel pen because I like the thinness, if you will, of the ink. I'm going to just dip in. I felt like it needed just a little bit something more at the top. So I dip into my stash of stickers from December Daily Kits past and add different shades of green and then that kind of cream colored star just to add a little bit of something. And I think it looks really nice all together. So the very last thing I'm going to do is stitch this bow, this felt bow, on top of this big paper clip because I wanted a way to keep all of the pages from story number 5 together as sort of an indicative, like, this is all one story, it all goes together. So I stitched that off camera just using some embroidery thread, and I am very, very pleased with the way this came out. I just watched Gossip Girl while I was creating these pages, and I think it turned out super, super cute. So let me know your thoughts. I always say this in every video. Tag me if you use it as inspiration. I'd love to see your creations. Thank you for spending your time with me today. If you want to use any of these ideas, definitely tag me so I can see what you create. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and subscribe if you're not. Make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss my content, and I'll see you next time. Take care, friends, and remember that you are enough. Bye.